One of the most common questions I get is why in the floor plan view I can't see a specific wall that I would like to see, or I can see a wall that I don't want to see. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly why and how to fix it. Let's go. Now quickly, before we jump into Revit, I would just like to ask you to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to link it up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. We are an Autodesk authorized training center. We offer training for Revit beginners, intermediate users, and even advanced users. We have over 150 hours of content. We offer one-on-one consultations and much more. So if you're interested in mastering Revit, that's the right place to be. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit, and this is the model that I'm going to be using to demonstrate this, because we can now easily differentiate which wall is on which level. So here we have 4 different levels of floors, and let's jump into the level 1 floor plan and start exploring it here. So here we have our 4 walls. Now, if we jump on to level 2, what you'll notice is we have the 4 walls, and we have the walls that are below that visible as well. Now, this is usually due to the template setup, and this is the most common template that people use, so this is why I'm using it, and this is the result you're going to see. So what you can notice here is that the wall below is kind of grayed out, and we can't really select it at all. The reason for this is because it's in a underlay setting. So underlay settings means that we can't really select it, we can only see it. Now you can change this by going here to the Modify tab, opening up the Select drop menu, and here we have the checkbox to select underlay elements. When you check this on, you can actually select these walls that are in the underlay setting. You can even move them if you want. Now, I prefer to have this actually checked off, just because usually when things are in underlay, it's because you don't want to move them. So it makes sense not to have that ability. So now let's ask the simple question of why can we see the wall if we don't want to see it? How can we not see it? Well, as I said, this is an underlay display that's part of the underlay settings here in the floor plan view. So when nothing is selected in the view, in the properties panel, you can see the view properties, and here we can see underlay properties, and it says range, base level, level 1, top level, level 2, and the underlay orientation is look down. So what does this mean? Well, this means that we are at level 2, obviously, and then we're looking down to level 1. So it's basically showing us an underlay, everything that's between level 1 and level 2, which is this wall here. So that's why it's showing it in the underlay display. However, if I go here and just set this to none, it's all going to be grayed out. When I hit apply, it's not going to show that, but the wall is still visible. Now, the reason the wall is still visible is because we have another setting that can determine the visibility of this wall. In this case, it's visible, and I can even select it, even though I'm not supposed to, because this checkbox is checked off. So what's going on here? This is where all of the confusion comes from, because you can determine what you can see and select based on the underlay settings, but also based on the view range settings. So these are 2 independent settings that do kind of the same thing. So if I open up the view range here, what you're going to notice is that we have the view range settings, and it's just showing us where the cut plane is, so where you're cutting through the model for this floor plan, what the bottom of that is, what the top of that is, so what's displayed, and then we have this view depth, so how much below our model, so underneath the floor plan, can we see. Currently it's set to unlimited. If I set it to associated level, like this, level 2, hit apply, okay, now this is gone, because we're only looking up to that level 2 and not below it. So if you want to display only the things on level 2, you need to make sure that here the view range is set to associated level, in this case level 2, and that the underlay option is set to none. If I check the underlay option and set it to level 1, it's going to display this again. So I would need to set this to none, not to show it. Now, it's really important to understand why we have two settings and in what way are they different. The underlay settings come from the kind of more traditional approach to drawing, which is in the old days when you would draw by hand, you would sometimes use transparent paper and then you would overlay. That's how we get that name, underlay or overlay, different sheets so you can see if the floor plans are aligning properly. This is the same thing that we're doing here. Basically, we're saying we're looking at level 2, but we also want to display, and in this case, we can say level 1. And we're kind of looking down, and it's showing that level 1. However, if I say I want to display level 5, and then hit apply, it shows nothing, but we're still looking down. If we look from level 2 and above, so let's switch that, look up, now it's not going to show those. So we need to kind of make it bounce. So let's say we want to go from level 3 to level 5, change it like that, hit apply. Now it's looking up, it's giving us everything from level 2 to level 5, and we're looking up. So it's kind of confusing at first, but you will get a hang of it rather quickly. So with the underlay setting, we can see what's below us or what's above us, depending on how we set these settings up. So usually I just keep this at none because I don't need it. When I need it, I just set it up to whatever I need to look at. So for example, look down, it's going to look like this. Now for the view range, for that, let's actually open up something a bit higher like level 4. So here we are at level 4 and the underlay settings are turned off. And now what I'm going to do is go into the view range, open that up. So here we can see we have the top, which is all the way at the top of level 4. This is the kind of the height offset. So from level 4 plus this value is where the kind of top cutoff point is. Then we have the cut plane, which is here, so where you're cutting through the model. And then we have the bottom, which is set to 0. And then we have the view depth. Now, if I change the view depth to unlimited, hit apply, it's going to show me basically all of the walls below this. So all of the levels and all of the walls below. If I set it only to level 1, again, it's going to show all because level 1 is lowest. If I select it to level 2, hit apply, it's going to drop a wall. If I go to level 3, hit apply, it's going to drop another wall. So it's basically determining how far down we're basically looking at this model. Now, if this is set to level 3 and the bottom here is set to level 1 and hit apply, it's going to give us an error because the bottom cannot go below the view depth. Just something to keep in mind. Now I'm just going to cancel out of here. And finally, I just want to show you here in the 3D view what that means. Basically, if I use a section box here, and let's say we're here at level 4, it's just determining how far down we can see. Can we see just one level down or 2 levels down or all the way down? And that's pretty much it. So it's a bit of a complex concept, but I hope I have made it a bit clearer for you. And of course, if you want to master Revit, go to balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to be leaving a link to that up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. We have Autodesk certified beginner courses, so if you want to master Revit, you can sign up there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.